Good morning, my name is Sergio Coupin. We are back on K2Born, and today we're going to evaluate the differences between value chain and supply chain. In order to proceed, we're going to focus basically on GM and Tata Motors, two fantastic examples to understand better these two core concepts. So what can we say about it? Well, first, if you look at the value chain and the resource utilization, you can say that through the initial vision as it was developed by Porter, you've got several issues that have to be contemplated. Issue one, you've got the major structure of the firms. And when I say this, I refer to the firm infrastructure, I refer to the human resource management, technological development, and procurement. And on the other hand, you've got typical operation. Basically, you've got all the issues concerning logistics, operation, marketing, sales, and services. Every company needs to check out where its core competencies fit better in order to move forward. Let's see an example with the case of Tata Motors. When you look at it, in that sense, this is the best way to look at it. You will see that you will have your core competencies, and basically, you will have to say, hey, among the raw materials, how can I use them? How can I be sure that I can deliver something that is truly different compared to my competitors? And you look at it, and you go until the customers. This is, let's say, a standard approach, much more adapted to multinational corporation. Then you've got another approach, which is far more useful for startups. And I'm talking about the customer-centric approach, where you start trying to understand, let's say, the major interests of the customer, how you can satisfy their needs. And then you make it the opposite way. As soon as you're able to go through these issues, you will develop your own core competencies. Then you go back to the first issues where you start. So it depends where you are. So when we look at the case of Tata, what do we get? We'll see that just afterwards. Before, I insist on the concept of supply chain. Here, and in the context of the supply chain, I will detail the case of General Motors. So here, you can look at it, and you can divide this concept by using upstream to downstream, where we're using inputs towards ended product. What is really important to understand is, okay, what are the valuable segment that will be fundamental to control over time. For instance, because we're going to talk about the automotive industry, let's go to mention more conceptual issues. 20, 30 years ago, when we were talking about automotive, we were talking about mechanical issues, mechanical devices, basically. And right now, it has completely changed. It just has been what we usually say, it's as Intel syndrome. Basically, if you look at the computer industry, before its power was in the hardware, now it's in the software. Well, in the automotive, it's about the same issues. It's no more the mechanical part that is important. We are talking about the electronic devices that are important. And car makers have understood it, because otherwise they would have lent their power in favor of Bosch, Siemens, Valeo, and so on. So it's really important to understand how company needs to move ahead, if they can internalize the competencies, or if not, how they can externalize some competencies just to focus on the core issues. So here you've got two cases. One, an Indian company, Tata Motors. Tata is a conglomerate. And it's really interesting to know what they've been doing. Tata is pretty well known now worldwide for three reasons mainly. One, the ability to design and manufacture the cheapest cars on earth, around 2,000 USD. And on the other hand, for its 208 acquisitions of Land Rover and Jaguar. would say, well, in the Indian company, just being able to absorb, let's say that people did, and even analysts, even financial analysts, didn't realize at this time that this was a huge company. And when India decided to open to the world in 1991, well, basically, it's thing changed. They reorganized the structure in some area, and Tata decided to specialize in one of the areas was the automotive industry. And but you say, okay, they're great, but how have they done it? Well, if you want to understand the full story, you need to keep in mind that basically Tata Steel, another company in the group, acquired Chorus. And because they fully internalized some resources at this point, basically they were able to make lots of economies. And in that sense, they were able to have a full control of operation at this point, which is absolutely fundamental if you want to understand the success of the Indian company. By opposition, when you look at GM, here you've got the poetic Wagner. What you can say is we are in a complete different situation where you've got continuous losing bets. No, see, we're not able to visualize that we're going towards ecological car brand portfolios that has lots of cannibalization, and in that way they were forced to, let's say, to just to sell some of their major brands, Hammer, Saturn, Saab, Pontiac. This shows the difficulty that they have. If you go through the small movies that you've got around, Filmmaker and so GM, you can see that this is part of Michael Moore movie, Roger and Me. And basically you can see that Roger Moore that is part of, was born in Flint, Michigan. Basically you can see that they lost the best, they decided to go to Mexico, was not a good situation. So losing bet, and basically this has happened because they didn't understood adequately neither value chain, neither supply chain. And this is the reason why it's really important to see, in Tata, they show that in the beginning 2000s, there would be an increase of commodity prices. Let's go on steel. Nobody saw it. So this is great measures that was taken at Tata. And we cannot say that GM was a unique loser in that sense. But at this point, it's really interesting to see the opposite situation of, let's say, GM, the major car maker in the world, got up to 70% of the worldwide market share. So to the situation where they were forced to use tap money when they've got the supply crisis. So this is a point. Okay, so in conclusion, what can we say? What we can say at this point is that value chain is a more important concept to understand the supply chain. The value move along the supply chain, and the community to understand how it does. Really important. In the case of, if you want to understand it, if you don't understand how the value moves around, well, you can lose it as your leadership. This is the case of GM. And here, if we go a little bit further, we can say that until what extent was it an adequate decision, the delocalization, offshoring to emerging countries, when we can see that what happened at the end is that emerging countries, and it is truly the case in the automotive sector with Tata, or we can mention Hyundai, we can mention Geely that has acquired Volvo, and so on, that they are able to build through giant. So until what point? This was a good point. I'll leave it to you, think about it, and we'll come back soon on K2R.